Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started, we'll need to get through our obligatory risk disclosure. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So just to kind of let everybody know, the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be used as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company and its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital, money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle, should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that I've gotten through the risk disclosure, good morning. Good morning, Aslan. Now that I've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the financial news and see what news we have upcoming that could potentially impact the markets here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do just that. All right. So looking at the news, actually, it looks like it's going to be a little bit on the light side. We have a number of both Fed members and president speeches or speech events here. We have pending home sales is probably the biggest event that we're having today at 10 a.m. today. We have Fed member Waller, Fed member Hammack. Fed member Waller looks like has already spoken. Fed member Hammack is about to speak or has in the process of speaking. We have Trump signing some more executive orders. Trump meeting Netanyahu, the prime minister for Israel, here at around 11 a.m. And then we have, again, a mix of Trump and Fed member speaking today. Okay. So looking ahead, tomorrow we have the consumer confidence JOLTS job openings coming in tomorrow at 10 a.m. That's going to be important. We are also coming in at the end of the month. So that's something to be aware of as well. October 1st, Wednesday, we have some ADP employment numbers coming in. And then on Thursday, we have continued jobless claims. And then Friday being the biggest of all days as far as news. So as the week progresses, the more and more that impactful news we have coming into the markets. Okay. All right. So now that we've gotten through the news portal here, we'll go ahead now turn our attention to the actual charts, and we're going to go ahead and start off with the gold market here. Once I get my charting platform up and running here. Okay. So let's move this up a little bit and see if we can bring this down here. All right. Here we are. I'm going to go ahead and start to share. All right, and this is it right here. So taking a look at the gold market, hopefully that is visible to everyone. Okay. I don't know exactly what causes those delays here, guys, but hopefully you guys can see my charts. Okay, perfect. All right, let's go ahead and all right, perfect. All right, let's take a look at the daily chart, and you can see here that the gold continues to make strides to the upside. Okay, we are in, I would say, a very healthy auction here to the upside in the gold market. Okay, obviously there's nothing to the left that's we're kind of an uncharted territory here. Okay, good morning, Faye. We're a little bit on uncharted territory with the gold market. Nothing that's kind of in to the left that could stand in the way of this price discovery here. Okay, so very healthy market, I would say, to the upside at the moment. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart, Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. You can see just with a little bit more detail here, I'm going to do a little bit of analysis here on exactly on this little swing here, just to get a sense of for where price can go on the 4-hour. All right, so we're going to go use this extension tool, and we're going to do this kind of thing here. And we're just trying to get a sense. So we've already reached this 61.8% extension, which is one of these destinations here. And you can see here that this has given us every indication that we can reach 3,900, which is not should not be too much of a surprise here. And then we have obviously the 4,000 level at the 1.618 extension. Okay, so again, right now, a lot logical locations given these swings on where price could reach. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead now and move into the 30-minute chart. We'll do a little bit of volume analysis. We'll keep those levels above these Fibonacci extension levels there. And we'll just do a little bit of analysis, volume analysis here against try to keep Friday in place here. So we'll start off with volume. Again, you can see that there's still seems to be quite a bit of participation, continued participation in this market to the upside. How do you mitigate your profit target when price chart do you? Yeah, Aslan, I still use it. I mean, the channels are the channels, right? I'm trying with the 4-hour chart and with these levels that I generate on the 4-hour. Since I don't have any, how do you say, if I look to the left, there's nothing really for me to target. The Fibonacci extensions are there to at least give me a sense of where price could go. Okay. Has nothing to do or won't impact me in any way on how I manage a trade. It's just in the absence of any sort of price action or any absence of any sort of consolidation, I use these mathematical levels to help me identify price targets. Okay. All right. So let's take a look here and look at the fixed range volume profile here, and we'll start off with right about here, drag that across to the close here, right about there. Okay. So you can see here that there's still, we have a pretty extended, I would say, to the upside. I'm looking at the 9 EMA here and you can see we're hugging the 9 EMA right now. We just closed out a bearish engulfing candle. All right. And we've come into an area of a little bit of demand. All right. So the question now becomes, is this going to offer us a location for a continuation in price? We'll go ahead and draw that in now. All right. So this is the little demand zone that I'm kind of referring to here at the moment. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and mark that in a green color to indicate it's supportive. Okay. So is this area going to hold? All right, right around this 3842 3842 level. Okay. Or is price going to come now that we've kind of been away from the VWAP for some time? Is this going to offer us maybe a leg down, okay, to VWAP, again, offering us maybe a location, right, where we could potentially participate in the market, right? Like I mentioned, I'm not really a fan of participating in the market on its new highs here, okay? And that so this here, right? We're at a level now, but I'm going to be looking to see if price can come down to this level. Obviously, this other level here down below, value area high, could offer us another location, right, for price to be supportive here. Okay. So we have VWAP, we have the volume weighted average price that could offer us some zones. This price has not been, the break of this value area high has not been retested. So the expectation is that maybe we spend some time coming back to this level before we continue. Now we have a couple of areas where price could potentially reverse. The area that we're in now and potentially this area down below. All right. I'm going to go ahead and open up our, see if I can open up my fixed range, not fixed range, but my visible range volume profile. Okay. Let's see if I can locate that. Visible range volume profile. There it is. Okay. So there's our visible range volume profile. I'm going to adjust this here a little bit, and value area up and value area down, all the same color. These outside ranges, outside of the value range, is going to be in this gray color. So again, another area right around value, right? Okay, again, another logical place, right, for price to be supportive, which is right up against VWAP. Okay, so here's VWAP. This is the edge of this visible range volume profile. That could also offer us another location where we could see maybe some supportive price action. Okay, so we have some areas here that would maybe support us to some degree in maybe a continuation move to the downside. I feel like maybe price is maybe losing a little bit of momentum here to the upside. Okay. Seeing price come back down to VWAP would be a little bit of a welcome sight. And if I'm interested in participating in a market that's been very strong to the upside. Okay. So I would say that heading into the session, let's take a look here at some volume, not initial balance here, guys. So let's take a look at Asia and London. I think I know the answer to those questions, but I want to confirm nonetheless. So Asia, okay, offered us a, let's see, get rid of this. Well, actually, we'll keep it. So Asia offered us a really nice extension to the upside in this market. Okay. We broke the initial balance range, came back to retest VWAP, found some buyers, and we were up ever since. Okay. London also appears to have been let's see, well, looks like we just broke to the upside, although London did only extended up to the 50% range, did not quite get to the 100% range. And now we have maybe some price action. We have price closing back inside the initial balance range. It is an area of demand here, so I don't know if we're going to necessarily get our full rotation of the initial balance range, but it's obviously a little bit more bearish than what we were seeing in Asia. Okay, so price currently is below our 9 EMA, still above our VWAP. So it would not be a surprise, and it's kind of what I'm waiting for here a little bit, to see if we can get a retest of this VWAP area, and then maybe offer us maybe a location where we maybe could offer us a continuation move to the upside. We have to be wary, given the mix that we're seeing in Asia and London, of potentially range kind of price action here, right? So we might spend some time maybe building out this volume profile. Okay, here on the right, we could see that maybe we spend some time, around these levels, kind of building out this volume profile to create a little bit more balance, because right now we seem to have a little bit of a double distribution at the moment. We have our point of control here, although it's kind of an odd color. Why in the world they would use black? Let's go ahead and change that to red. Okay, so we have another kind of price here that can serve as a little bit of a magnet, right, to this. We have point of control, we have value area high. So right now, it would not surprise me if we have maybe a little bit of a pullback in a market that's obviously moving higher on the higher time frame. Okay. All right, guys. So I think that's what I have for you guys. One last, maybe take a peek here at the developing initial balance. I know that I have quite a few lines here on this chart, so let's look at this and then maybe adjust some of the lines here. So we're going to go ahead and remove some of these drawings. Okay. So you have a relatively small initial balance range, and I personally prefer working off of a smaller initial balance range, because that will guide me and offer me opportunities when price does extend. Right, it's a lot easier to extend a narrow initial balance range than one that's wide, because that opens the door for maybe a possibility for price to range. Right, the wider the initial balance range, the more likely we could be in some sort of range price action. Okay, so relatively narrow initial balance range. So maybe giving me a sense that without much effort from either buyers or sellers, that they could drive price in one direction or the other. Right now, I'm kind of focused in on this VWAP here. I'm kind of interested to see if we can maybe get price to come back down to this level and then offer us maybe a continuation move here to the upside. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. So this 3380 level, 3380, 82, and anywhere in that range is going to be an area that I'm going to see if I can get some evidence of maybe some continuation move here to the upside. Okay. All right. So let's go now and turn our attention over to the crude oil market. Oop, not that market. Crude oil. Okay, there we are. We'll start off with the daily. Daily, again, the moment we think that maybe we're out of the woods with the crude oil market and that we're going to head higher, in come the sellers. Okay. Again, we had price. Actually, technically, I think looks like let's see, just check the highs here. This is open. The open here was 65.62. This close here was 65.59. This close here was 65.72. So technically we closed above this area, but as you can see here, right, we got some sellers to kind of step into this market, and they were able to drive the price opened even below this level. Okay, so some strong sellers came into this market. So what is that an indication of? Well, it's telling us that we're still in range. Okay, we're still in range in this market. And 66 obviously is a resistance zone, 62 being a supportive zone. Okay, and that's kind of what we're in. We're in a 4-point range, right? So if we have strategies that take advantage of 4-point ranges, well, we have the perfect market for us to work with this market, right? Right now, it appears that we are in some sort of range. The moment we get into some sort of out of balance area, the moment is the indication that we get the opposing participants to step in. Okay, you can see the 9 EMA overlapping price, right? VWAP overlapping price, really not giving us any indication. I think we were maybe over the past week with the series of candles that we were getting here, there was maybe some expectation that this was going to be the day that we were going to break higher. But looks like we may have to wait for some more evidence of that. Okay. All right. So daily chart, again, continues to be in some sort of range. We're going to take a look at the 4-hour chart. We're going to turn off initial balance here for a moment and take a look and see what the 4-hour chart is telling us. Well, you can see that we've broken some structure here, right? We had maybe a little bit of a triangle pattern that's been established here, right? And looks like we've broken below it, right? This is my triangle pattern, right? I've broken below it, right? Okay, I'm going to adjust this here a little bit, but we've broken this triangle, this consolidation pattern to the downside. Now we've come into an area of some support, but I would have to imagine that price, that this little point of control is probably going to act as some sort of magnet to price, right? While we see maybe that there is some supportive price action here around 64, assuming we can get below 64, then I would say that this point of control will act as kind of a magnet to price, and that will come down as low as 63.20. Okay. Let's take a look now at the 30-minute chart. All right, 30-minute chart. Okay, so a little bit of rounding here. So it looks like we may have found maybe some interest here on the buy side here around the 64 level. Well, that should not be too surprising because we've been down there before. Now, I don't know if you guys are believers of head and shoulder patterns, but this looks like a reasonable head and shoulder pattern. We have the left shoulder here, the head, and the right shoulder. Okay, this being maybe the neckline. All right, are we experiencing maybe a pattern like this? It sure looks like it, right? So if I take the head down to the neckline, now does that mean we're going to go down this far? That would bring us down to that 63.20 level, 63 level that I had mentioned before. Okay, that would align that with that view. Okay, so hard to say. Okay, I've seen head and shoulder patterns fail as well, right? So this could also serve as maybe a springboard for maybe price to head higher. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at our fixed range volume profile. Let's take a look and see where price is in relation to Friday's price action here, and right about there. Okay, we're going to drag that across to the close right there. Okay, so you can see that price is below value. Okay, indicating that there is interest to the downside in this market. Now we are a little bit extended. We were a little bit away from the VWAP, but notice VWAP is right smack on top of point of control for this visible range, right? So this would make for a very logical area, right, for price to maybe rally to, and then offer us maybe another location for price to maybe advance lower. Okay. And that would be supportive of the structure that we're currently in at the moment, right? So again, if I do my little Fibonacci analysis here, it looks like we may have already reached the 100% extension. Okay, well, no, we reached the 61.8% extension. So we have another, again, another leg here, potential leg down to 63.81. We're seeing a little bit of two-sided trading going on right now, right? We have buying wicks and selling wicks. So I don't know whether that's going to be enough for buyers to maybe take control of this market. But right now we are in bearish structure, so I have to think more bearish, right? So any sort of advance toward the VWAP, with the expectation is that it would continue lower. Okay, that's kind of my current view. So let's take a look here. It looks like the market just opened on us here, so we're going to take a look at the initial balance across the various markets here. We're going to start off with the London market. I'm going to turn off some of my drawings here because the chart gets quite busy with all these lines here. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the Tokyo session, okay, or Asia. Okay, you can see that we initially got an extension to the upside that got us to maybe around the 100% extension. All right, not without some effort. And we got a pretty strong seller coming in at the 50% extension, and that has driven price. So London would say I was probably quite short on this market. Okay, so looking at London, you can see that we got our 100% extension, and there's a potential that we could head all the way down to the 200% extension of this current move. Right, this down here. Right, this is certainly looks like buyers try to stem the tide here, but it doesn't look like they have necessarily the participants to drive price higher. So headed into the market, I would say that we are looking lower. All right, in this market, I don't know if necessarily I want to buy these bottoms, but I will wait for price to maybe come up to a VWAP or maybe the edge of value here on the visible range. And then that could offer me maybe a location where I can continue to look for downside trades or bearish trades. Okay. Let's take a peek kind of to the developing, let's see, developing initial balance range here. So we'll take what just kind of developing again. It just opened here in a minute ago, right? So we're at an area, relative area where we could see some support here around 64. Right, so it looks like we are getting some action, some resistance to this downward move here. So this area, notice how price kind of reacted away from this area. So there's obviously some buyers here. Now the question is, are there enough participants to the buy side to drive price higher? Well, right now it doesn't appear to be. Okay, we had two candles that were bullish, but relatively weak in comparison to what we're seeing on the bearish side. So I would have to see price break above the 9 EMA to start to really start to maybe change my tune here. But otherwise, I think we are in a market that is looking to continue lower. All right, that's kind of my current view. 64 is first target, and like I said, the 63.20 level down below here, our 63.40 level, does not seem like an unlikely destination for this move. Okay. All right. I think that's what I have for the crude oil market. Looks like crude oil continues to be somewhat bearish. So I'm gonna put on my marketing hat here and encourage folks to hit the likes and subscribes if you haven't already. If you're not already a subscriber, I'd encourage you to be a subscriber. Offer me something to continue to offer these sessions here. We do also have super chat the available to you guys as well. But I'd like to see these likes increase here a little bit. Looks like we have twice as many people in the room than we have likes. So if this analysis is supporting your view or understanding of the markets, I would encourage you to maybe hit a like, maybe leave a comment or two in the portal indicating how this analysis is supporting your understanding of the markets and allow you to navigate the markets much more effectively. Okay. All right. So now that I've gotten through my marketing, let's go ahead and take a look at the market that everybody is interested in understanding, and that is the Nasdaq. Okay. So Nasdaq. Let's take a look at the daily chart. So we have again, we had a little bit of a respite on the move higher. We got down to the 9 EMA. I don't know about you guys, but the this 9 EMA is certainly offering us something that would indicate allow us to guide on direction here, right? So we have price kind of reversing away from the 9 EMA. We have not made a new high. 25,000 still seems to be a market, a price that a market has not been able to get above. So we have not made a new high. So it could be that we could lead us to some sort of kind of range, kind of price action in this market. Okay. But nonetheless, we have reversed away from 9 EMA, indicating that the market is still bullish. All right. Even though there's obviously interest here up at these levels to look to see if we can take a short trade, right? But we have to I guess continue to understand that we are in a market that is still very much a bullish market, right? Nothing in the way. I mean, I think we had some early indications here when we were drawing some channels here. I was saying, oh well, look, we broke here below, right? And technically we are below. Okay. So, but we are seeing some evidence here around the 9 EMA indicating that maybe price wants to continue higher. Okay. In this market. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we'll turn off our initial balance here for a moment and take a look and see. We'll also maybe turn off our channel that we drew on the 4-hour chart. Again, we've gotten to a level here of support here on the left-hand side. This 24,500 level seems to be a supportive zone here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that in. So this area right here does appear to be supportive. Okay. We came down to that level, reacted away from it. And now we have price above our 9 EMA and looking to retest the highs here of 25,000. 25,000 is going to be, again, another area where I would expect sellers to see sellers. If we manage to close above that, that could open up a door to higher pricing. Right now, I feel like while we are, I guess, technically somewhat bullish, I feel like the market is in some sort of range, right? So we spent most of the week down. Okay, from Monday to Wednesday, we were down, and then the tail end of the week, we started to see signs of some bullish price action. So while we were making lower lows and lower highs, we stopped at an area where I would expect buyers, and they did come in. And now we see that price is above some of the areas that we care about, right? We're above our 9 EMA, and I suspect we're above some of our moving averages. I don't know how I'm removing these, but I will add them. So moving ribbon, moving average ribbon. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay, so again, you can see that we're above a lot of our moving averages here. Okay, so Let's see if I can change some of these colors because these colors are too red's fine with this one. Let's make this one not blue. Let's say purple. And let's make that one maybe a closer shade of green. Okay, that's our 50. And then this yellow one, which probably going to make a little shade of orange here. That's too close. Oops. Make this a little darker red. Okay, so you can see here that price remains above a lot of our moving averages, right? We have the 50 MA, the 100, and the 200, all indicating that. And now we're getting this short term. Let's turn off this here if I can. Okay, so we're getting our 9 EMA crossing above, right? Crossing above. What is this level here? I'm confused. Oh, okay. That's our 20. All right. So we see that our 9 EMA is crossing above our 9 EMA is crossing above our 20 SMA. Okay. Indicating that there is still some bullish momentum here to the upside. Okay. All right. Let's see. I wanted to take a look at the fixed range volume profile. We'll turn off ribbons here for a moment. And we'll take a look at the fixed range volume profile. We'll compare where price is in relation to Friday's price action here. And we'll see if we can we'll move down to the 30-minute chart here first. And then we'll take a look at this. Okay, so it looks like we're making a steady grind, right? Steady grind here to the upside. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. And we're going to, let's see, Friday. There it is. Friday, start here, drag this across to here. And then you can see here that we are above value. Okay, no surprise there, right? This area right here would be a logical area for maybe some support right around this 24,000. Let's call it 740 level. Okay, let's call it 740. I would expect that this area could offer us some area of support here. I know that's well below the current market. We do appear to be a little bit of extended to the upside. Again, I'm going to be looking for maybe an opportunity back down to VWAP that could offer me another location, right, for me to participate in a long side trade. I don't like taking long side trades in obvious areas of resistance, right? So this is not an area where I feel I can manage my risk. I feel like I'm taking a lot of risk and taking a long trade, right? Only to be, exposing myself to a good amount of risk. So if I'm going to be bullish, let it be on my terms. Okay, my term is that it needs to come back down to VWAP in order for me to participate in a long move. Okay. Now, if I'm so inclined with if I'm so inclined, taking a trade back down to VWAP may give me enough room. I'm not having to risk all that much to the upside, and we're starting to see maybe some indication that maybe we are going to develop a little bit of a bearish kind of candle here. So assuming that we can close that candle, maybe close below the 9 EMA, then that maybe gives me freedom to maybe take a trade that would take me back down to VWAP. Otherwise, the only other option that I could see is that we remain in some sort of range, right? We remain between 24,859 or 860 and 25,000, right? That's kind of what I'm beginning to see here. Okay. All right. So headed into the market, I would say that the market is still bullish on the higher time frame. I am seeing some signs here that maybe some bearish participants have kind of stepped into the market. But let's take a look here at initial balance. I want to see what initial balance was able to do here across these other markets here. So let's go ahead and open up the Asia market first and see what Asia was able to do with this market. So Asia was able to take this market higher. So a lot of a good amount of participants were willing to participate in an upside move in the Nasdaq. So they feel confident in that path. London also kind of hovering at the upper end of the initial balance range, right? We came back, we came down, we retested the initial balance high, and it offered us yet another location for opportunity to the upside. So I'm going to be interested to see what kind of candle do we end up getting here with this current candle, and if it offers us again, I think we technically have made a new high here. See, so this is 24,900. This was 8,850. This was 898. So with this candle, we technically made a new high. We closed above this area of structure. So again, path right now seems to be either bullish to range. That's kind of what I'm seeing, right? Bullish to kind of range, kind of price action. If we start to break below, say, 24,856, then maybe we start to maybe get some bearish structure that would lead us to believe that we are headed lower. Okay, a lot of heat during London. Yes. So yeah, London is, I would say, not maybe necessarily a believer of this upside move. Okay. Asia, very much so. London, not so much. Okay. All right. So we'll have to wait. Again, we have to be patient and wait for this the regular session to open up here and see what participants have to say. But right now, like I said, London seems to be a bit neutral. Okay, did manage to get to the upside, but now has kind of moved into some sort of consolidation range. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of 30-minute candle do we get. Do we get a 30-minute candle that is of the bearish engulfing variety that could maybe lead us to believe that maybe we are headed lower? Or is this candle going to soften up and maybe give us an indication that this close above, this candle closing above is real, and that we should entertain maybe an opportunity that would lead us higher? Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I have for the NASDAQ. I would say that probably looking for some opportunities, certainly that would lead us back down. The VWAP are not out of the question. I think that's certainly, looking to maybe sell some of this here would be kind of in line with my beliefs at the moment. Once we get to VWAP, that could offer me maybe a location where I could maybe participate to the long side. I feel like I would be paying a little bit of a discount because, again, I'm looking at the higher time frame. The higher time frame is saying that that there's still some good amount of interest in this market to the upside. So I have to find logical places on a lower time frame that would allow me to participate in this market if I am bullish. Okay, if I'm bearish, well, I'm at a location now, right? Question is whether it's going to continue and make this momentum move. But I do see a little bit of a runway here down to VWAP. We are a bit extended to the downside, so would not be surprised if the market opened and came back down and retested those levels before we made any sort of continuation move to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing in the NASDAQ. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the ES. Okay, so looking at the ES here, we'll start off with the daily chart as we did here. Okay, so again, developing a rather strong bullish candle here, right? So I don't know about you guys, but these are not the type of candles I like to necessarily fade this kind of strength, right? I'm seeing very little in the way of wicks here, right? But I do know it's still developing, right? So very strong bullish candle. We just came from another strong bullish candle that closed on Friday. Okay, that allowed us to close above the 9 EMA, and then above this is a anchored VWAP from some prior session. Okay, so we broke above this this wedge pattern that we were talking about, right? And now we continue to show some strength here to the upside. So right now, I feel like there's still maybe some more room to the upside in this market. Again, I probably a similar kind of view. I'm going to go ahead and do my little Fibonacci study here and see where price could go. Okay, and here we are. We have the 68.33. Is it 68.38? That's the 61.8% extension. That would be aligned with this structure that we're seeing. And then ultimately we have this 69.75 level above, right? That's would be the 100% extension of this move. So if we are going to maintain this structure to the then we have a couple of locations where price could go. All right. Looking at the 4-hour chart, just kind of seeing what the what kind of context we can get from the markets here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. You can see that price is above our 9 EMA. I'm going to go ahead and turn on our ribbons here. Okay, so ribbon. So we have price. This is our 200, our 100. This is our 9. Okay, this is our where's the this might be our 50. And so in any case, price, the short-term time frame, the 9 EMA is breaking above some of these SMAs. Okay, even the SMAs are breaking above themselves here, right? So we have the, let's see, let's turn off the 9 here for a moment. Okay, just to get a better sense of what's going on here. Okay, so we got I believe the 20, right? This 20 is this red line, the VWAP, and then so we had a cross below 20 below the 50. Okay, we had price close, the 20 closed below the 50, but price not price, but the MA crossed below before we saw price close above our 50 EMA, 50 EMA. Okay. And that we also got our 9 EMA to cross above. Okay, so indicating there is a fair amount of momentum in this market to the upside. Okay, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart. Again, we're just trying to get some context as to what the market wants to accomplish here. Now you can see here that we are up at the highs here. We've been here before. This 67. 40 or 67 33 what's that 67 36 level. Okay, so we had price push below it. I found some buyers. Now we're back above it, retested the highs, but we haven't been able to get above the highs, right? So again, another indication that maybe we are moving into some sort of range in this market. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to start off with the Friday's session here and see what they have to say. All right, we're going to go through here all the way to the close of Friday's session. Okay, and you can see that there's a fair amount of interest here to the upside in this market. Again, I would expect that this area down below could be a supportive area. Right around the 6,700 level would be a supportive area. Another supportive area would be potentially this VWAP range around 67.22. I would expect to be also somewhat supportive because we are a little bit extended here to the upside. So again, if I'm bullish, I'd like to wait for price to come back down to a level where I can manage my risk. Right now, while I'm seeing some bullish price action, very difficult to participate up against a known resistance level, right? I'd like to see price get above that resistance level and test it from above. That's just my personal view. Okay, and that might not work for others, but I'm always push and then retrace, and then I'd like to be part of the retrace. That's kind of the way I look at things. Now, if I'm more inclined to short this market, which I think is a little bit counter trend, but certainly an area where I can manage my risk, I have the VWAP as a target. And then I also have this value area high from Friday as targets for this price. We have point of control. So would not be, I mean, as far as a risk reward play for a short trade, very much aligned, right? Don't have to risk all that much for an opportunity where I can get paid pretty well, right? Okay, so right now I would have to say that market looks to be. I'm gonna call it neutral for now. I haven't really seen. Well, we have this one area where we broke some structure here to the downside. So I'm going to say maybe neutral. Neutral. I'm going to stay with my neutral stance here on this market. It seems like we are kind of consolidating here. So if we do indeed get a bearish candle here, maybe to break a new low, maybe we get back down to VWAP. But VWAP is my true test. if I'm going to be bearish in this market, I'd like to see this VWAP broken. And again, similar to what I've been saying so far, is that I'd like to see VWAP broken and then retested up from below, okay, and fail before I take any sort of opportunity here to the downside. Okay. So again, hopefully that gives you kind of a view of kind of how I'm looking at these kind of things. Can I take a trade to VWAP? Certainly. I'm risking above this area here for that opportunity. And if it does break below VWAP, then you see these couple of targets that we have below us, right? We have the visible range point of control. We have value area high from Friday. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move into the Dow before we do one final review across all the markets. All right. We'll start off with the Dow here. All right, so let's see. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the daily chart, see what the daily is telling us. The Dow, okay, the Dow seems to be even stronger, I would say, in some cases, than what we've been seeing in the. We're close to the highs here, right? We have this wick. I don't know if maybe it was clearing the path for more upside price action, but we're right up against the highs here in structure. Okay. Again, making these little staircases to higher prices here. Now we're a little early for this, but I'm going to go ahead and start my fib analysis on this swing here, right? So we can go here to here and here. Okay, so again, back to the highs. Okay, back to the high of this wick, around 47,000. It was not out of the realm of possibilities here on the daily chart. And then we have the 47,680 level as 100% extension of this swing. So again, we some visible targets for where price could reach this market based on Fibonacci. All right. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, you're starting to see some price action that would indicate that maybe we are in some sort of upward momentum move. Okay, in this market. We have some areas here, this value area high from the visible range volume profile that could be resistant to price. Okay, cannot rule that out, right? That's a possibility, right? We have that area there. We had a swing lower, okay, and now we're up against this value area high, right? That could offer us maybe another leg, and maybe in some sort of range kind of price action. All right. Let's take a look at the initial balance now and see what, no, not the moving ribbons. Moving ribbons, I think I want to look at is the 30-minute chart and see where price is in relation to Friday's value zone. And we're going to go ahead and locate Friday here, right about there, drag that across. Is there. Okay, so we're a little bit tighter, okay, closer to the highs, a little less extended, okay, a little less extended than we were on either the Dow or the ES. We do see that price is above our value zone, all right, from Friday, indicating that this area around here could offer us maybe a location for a supportive trade here to the upside. We are hovering right around the 9 EMA. I don't know. Maybe we are developing a little bit of maybe some sort of resistance zone here. Okay, not allowing price to get above that. Okay, is kind of what I'm seeing at the moment. All right, so I don't know if that's going to contribute or lead to maybe a leg lower in this market. Maybe down to VWAP, with not a VWAP, and maybe potentially as low as the this value range that we've been talking about. Okay, that would not be out of the realm of possibility here, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I'm a little hesitant to maybe participate at the highs here in a long trade. Okay, I'd like to see maybe a little bit of a deeper pullback right around this level here at the top end of value here around was that 46? Was that 46,640, 46,650? Somewhere in that range. I know that's a bit away from the current market here, but that would be a logical area. Another logical area would be the VWAP here around 46,701. But this is starting to look like, again, similar to what we were saying with the other equity markets, starting to look like it wants to stay in some sort of range here. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the initial balance here. Let's see what the other markets were able to do with this market. We'll start off with the Asia market here and take a look. So Asia was able to reach the 200% extension of the initial balance range. We'll go ahead and turn off some of our drawings here. So Asia was able to take the market to the 200% extension. London was, let's see if it's similar to what we see in the equities. Yeah, it looks like some sellers stepped in right away. Did not let the Dow continue higher. They stepped in and came back down to VWAP, which kind of offered us a good location, right, to support maybe a continuation trade to the upside. We have yet to make a new high, right, in this market. So again, leads me to believe that maybe we're going to be in some sort of range, at least for the start of the session. So I need some more information. I need to see that participants are willing to take this market into some sort of direction. Okay. You did well in the metals. Is that what you're saying there, Simon? Okay. All right. So yeah. So in any case, I think I need some more information. I am starting to see maybe a little bit of price action that would indicate maybe that we are going to head lower. Okay. Right. That's kind of my current feeling as we're going to hit lower, but if we could easily stay in some sort of range here. Right. So I'm seeing a little bit of price action that could maybe lead me to believe that maybe we head to downside. As long as price remains above VWAP, I have to give a little bit of an edge to the bulls. Okay. If price starts to close below and retest below VWAP, then maybe that offers me an opportunity. Now, higher time frame is still giving us indications that it wants to move higher. So we probably need to look for areas where we want to participate on a high move. So we have the point of control here serving as a target, right? With also a demand zone area. So that would be a logical place. I usually don't like taking trades on a point of control, but if it's an area where we've seen maybe whatever participants that we need in order to support a trade, that's also a possibility as well. Okay. All right. Let's take one final look across all the markets here, guys. So looking at the gold market, kind of giving me kind of the same kind of look and feel as we're seeing on the equities, right? So we had price extend, right? We had price extend. I'm just going to move this to the regular session. Okay. So we have a relatively standard size initial balance range. We had initially a downside candle here. Now we've kind of beginning to develop another upside candle. Well, this initial balance range will get established here in the next 10 minutes or so. So we'll have to see what kind of initial balance. Right now, it seems to be an average range. We are above VWAP. Again, I'm feeling a little bit kind of with all these overlapping candles. Again, feeling a little bit rangy, a little bit consolidating to me. Okay. So is that consolidation going to cause us a break? Well, if it does, then I'm going to wait for the initial balance to break and then decide based on that initial balance break, which direction I want to take this market. So right now, looking at a higher time frame, I think the market is looking to head higher. Okay. 30 minute is kind of deciding, maybe even accumulating in order for that to take place. Okay. So headed into the session, I would say that it looks, at least on the higher time, it wants to head higher. I'm seeing more range kind of price action of late. So I'm going to wait for the initial balance range to establish and then wait for participation in either direction in order before I take on any sort of opportunity in gold. Okay. Looking at the crude oil. Okay. Looking at the crude oil here. Again, I would say that we need to continue to look for bearish trades in this market. We got yet another leg here to the downside in this market. Really are not showing any signs. We were seeing some signs of strength, but looks like sellers have kind of stepped into this market. Kind of surprising given all the unrest that we're seeing in the Middle East. and in some of these supplies. But nonetheless, we are seeing continued weakness. We managed to get below the 6,400 level, 64 level. Again, if we do manage to remain below, that could offer us maybe another continuation trade to the downside. So again, crude oil, I would say until we can get above VWAP, remains bearish for me. All right. NASDAQ, we were looking at the NASDAQ earlier. Okay. So again, kind of a market that I think on the higher time frame is showing us some strength. We've been in a little bit of range of late. We're starting to see kind of participation on both sides. We get a bearish candle followed by a bullish candle, bearish candle followed by a series of bullish candles. So it does appear to be in some sort of range at the moment. On the higher time frame, we were looking earlier, does appear to be bullish, right? But we do see that we have this 25,000 range that has not been broken, right? We have not been able to hold above 25,000. Nonetheless, we are developing a bullish candle here. Okay. So I would say, again, headed into the session until I get some more information on this market, I'm going to say that, let's see, what time is that? Looks like the market is opened already. Is that right? Okay, yeah, it looks like it's opened here. So we had a kind of a bullish reaction to this bearish candle. I'm going to wait for this initial balance range to establish before I take on any sort of position in this market. But right now, it does appear, at least on the higher time frame, that it wants to head higher. All right. Now the question is, can we get market structure or price structure to support that view? Okay. And then ES, I would say similar kind of maybe looking a little bit more bearish to me than the NASDAQ. Okay. So as long as price remains below our 90 MA, and if it's working its way below our VWAP, then maybe we might see a leg that would lead us back down to the point of control of this visible range volume profile, and maybe Friday's range would not be out of the realm of possibility there. Okay. And then ultimately the Dow. Okay. So Dow, I think I was kind of reporting earlier that I thought it was a little bit stronger. Let's take a look. Right. So similar kind of thing. Again, either range to potentially bearish. I feel like there's a possibility that we could come back and revisit this point of control, similar to what we were saying for these other equity markets. If we can get below VWAP here and hold below, then yes, I would say that it opens the door for price to revisit the point of control here down at 46,600 or maybe 46,586. Okay. So that's kind of what I have for you guys. I do realize that I've gone a little bit past time here. So we'll close this session off and see. Okay. Again, equities seem to be kind of working a range here a little bit. See if we can. Yeah, working a range here. So we'll have to wait and see what the market gives us. Okay. So you're welcome, Aslan. You're welcome, Faye. All right. So again, let's wait for some, more evidence on the direction that they want to take these markets before we execute any sort of trades. Right now, we are kind of in these kind of range, kind of price action. Really difficult to decide which direction they want to take. It's kind of a lot because maybe leading us to a little bit of chop here. Okay. You're welcome, Vav. All right. So we'll go ahead and close this session off as we close most sessions, guys. Again, don't hesitate to hit the likes and subscribes. Leave me a comment or two in the portal to let me know that that this analysis is supporting you and supporting your ability to navigate the markets. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon.